We have a wonderful session planned now, and everything we've talked about, I think, is going to be reflected in this panel. We're going to talk about Medicare for All and using it as a political theme. And the folks that are going to talk to you are going to be able to bring that right to the surface, and we'll be able to have some really good reflections of what we've been talking about the whole time. How many of you were in New York last year? Raise your hand. Wow. Yes. Wonderful. Well, one of your speakers today was in New York, and she had a heart-wrenching story as a mother. And so we're going to see what's happened in the last year. And how many of you are union folks in here? Oh, yeah. We got our union brother that's going to talk to you. And I know y'all have seen him if you get the emails like me. Wow. And then we have our veteran who's going to be able to pull all this together. He is, he's a pioneer in the Medicare for All, and he's going to bring it home. And let me just say, the round table discussions today were so good. We have some folks here. How many elected officials do we have in the room? Elected officials. Stand up. Elected officials. Okay. Elected officials. Very good. Okay. Where's Joe? Joe at the back table, is he gone? There was an elected councilman that just came because he supports Medicare for All. He was at our table. And then there were the DSA. And let me say on the DSA, there was so much diversity. There was us older guys and a lot of the young people. How many of you are DSA in the room? Yeah? Great. Wonderful. And it's so good to see all of you. And gosh, the labor leaders, I want to thank Mark for all he does. Well, see, I feel a little special. We get Mark in South Carolina a lot because he feels sorry for us and he comes down there. He's been fighting the battles with us, low density of union members, right to work, fire at will. If you don't know what that is, it's different from right to work, folks. Fire at will. So, and then we have great leaders like President Emeritus of Wisconsin who got Randy for us. David Newby, thank you for bringing our great speaker here with us today. And the other state leaders, like my state Fed president, I'm President Emeritus, Aaron McKee from South Carolina. Our members support this, and we've been in, like Wisconsin, South Carolina has been in. We don't have the money, but we give what we can. And Aaron, where are you? Stand up. Aaron McKee, president of the AFL-CIO in South Carolina. Let me give you this challenge even before we begin. When you get through hearing what these panelists have to say, you need to go back if you're labor. And there's some great labor leaders in the room. Washington, there are more people here. But you as union members, you're the important folks. And you as members need to go back and say, listen, we've passed this resolution at the AFL-CIO convention a couple of times, a few times. Let's put our money where our mouth is. So we can start. Let me tell you where you can start. Tell them you want to join Labor Campaign for Single Payer. As soon as you get back, tell them, are we members? Why not? And they need to call Mark, need to get Mark on the agenda, and need to get affiliated with this organization that has been fighting this fight for so long, a long time before this, because he also was with the Labor Party. And we know that is an issue, one of the three issues they focused on. And then I want to challenge all of you, when you hear these candidates today, you go back. Now, we've got runoffs in South Carolina Tuesday. And Aaron and I have been on the phone. This is the weekend before elections where our people get threatened, all kind of stuff comes out. And, we're telling our good candidates who stand up for Medicare for All, when you get through today, you need to be right. And you don't have to be in their state, but you need to be giving money to candidates. I don't care what little amount you want to give, to candidates that stand up for Medicare for All. So if you've got candidates running, go back and make you out a little list. After we get this runoff, I'm going to start doing some of this too. So make sure, one, let's put the money where our mouth is on Labor Campaign for Single Payer, on our candidates that are going to stand up for that and make it happen. So we want to make sure all of that gets done. So let's begin with our first candidate that is running in Nevada for Congressional District 4.
She ran already.
Oh, you've already run. Oh, my gosh. Amy, well, do y'all recognize Amy? You folks from New York? Stand up here, Amy. Yeah, but when we were in New York, didn't you speak in New York? Do y'all recognize Amy and her story? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it was over, Amy. Congratulations. Yeah.
No.
I want to talk about it.
Yeah. All right. So Amy is going to talk about it, and guess what, y'all? She's taking on the establishment Democrats. I know that. That's what I've been reading. So let's turn it over now. And this is Amy, and Amy's last name is
Valella.
I'm sorry, folks. I know Amy because we met her last year, and we saw her at the AFL-CIO, and she's going to tell you about what she's done in the last year. So give her another big round of applause.
It feels really good to be back where it all started for me in the single-payer movement. A year and a half ago at that fateful Medicare for All rally here in New York City, I did not know where my road was going to take me. And I want to thank Ben. He was a big part of that. I started out coming to that event as just a grieving mother, and I didn't know where I wanted to go, and I was broken. And it was through the love of a lot of people sitting here today that and Nina Turner, I remember that my husband had met her. I'll tell you a little bit background story quickly. He had met her in the elevator, I did not know, and had told her the story of my daughter, Shalyn, and how I had to hold my daughter. She died a needless death because she could not provide proof of insurance. And I remember Nina Turner getting up, and she was saying, I didn't know he'd even spoken to her, and all of a sudden she starts telling the story of my daughter. The tears were coming down my face in that front seat. And I remember her saying, in this great country, no 22-year-old should be dying from a lack of health insurance. That is the truth. And I want to tell everyone in this room here that everyone should consider, or at least think about, running for something. Because it's going to take each and every one of us to infiltrate and get our message across and make sure that we have people who are elected who are in support of Medicare for All. I put this in real terms. When I was speaking to people, I was saying, we have 35,000 people a year dying from a lack of health insurance. And that's conservatively. That is 35,000 times the amount of pain that I have suffered since my daughter died. And since she died, next Thursday will be 3 years. That's 105,000 people that have died